This is Mageia 6 final release with the Xfce desktop. I have this installed on a remote hard drive, but I'm going to cover the installation itself in GNOME boxes just to show you a trick or two. So I'm going to choose to install Mageia 6. It's already selected English. American as the language. I'm going to accept this license agreement. I'm not in New York. I'm in Chicago. And my hardware clock is set to universal time. I have a US keyboard. This is the installation wizard. I'm going to click on Next. Now, since this is a virtual disk, I'm just going to do a straight installation. On that, use free space. So I'm going to remove the unused packages. Now it's installing the system. Now it asks me what bootloader I want to use. Grub2 with the graphical menu. I find that slows things down quite a bit. So I'm going to choose Grub2 with a text menu, and it's going to put it on my virtual disk, so I don't have to change that. Now, this is the thing that I want to call your attention to. It's asking for a password, but this is associated with the bootloader itself, not with the login to the system. But you won't know this until you find out the hard way, so that's why I'm calling it to your attention. You notice it does not ask for a username. So I'm going to enter my password. And enter it again. And then click on Next. Now the installation is complete. In the real world, you would shut down or restart your computer and boot into the new installation. Now you notice it is asking me to enter a username, but I don't have a username. All it asked for was a password. So what I discovered by trial and error is the username here should be root. Then the password. Then press enter. Now you're only going to get this when you first boot it up. Now you have an opportunity to set a regular login password. First they want the root password, and I'm going to use the same one I used before. And repeat it. Now they want my real name. My login name is automatically generated with lowercase letters. You could change that, however. Now my user password. Now I'm going to use the same one, although many people advise against doing that. I'm not too worried about security here. Then click on Next. Now I get a regular login screen, and I'm going to use that password. So I'm going to stop the virtual machine here, but the thing to remember is that you have two levels of security, one at the bootloader level and one when you actually log in. And to get into the first level of security, you have to sign in as root and then enter the password that you entered in the installation program. Now I'm in my actual installation of Mageia 6 Xfce on my remote hard drive. And when you first boot it up, you'll be greeted with this welcome screen. You can get it back. It's called Mageia Welcome. Most of these are links to online references, the release notes, the errata, newcomers how-to, documentation. It's very extensive. Forums, wiki, chat room, Bugzilla, in case you want to report any bugs. The Community Center, how to contribute in various ways. Donations, and join us. Remember, this is a community development. It was begun by people who were laid off when creditors forced Mandriva to lay off a substantial number of its staff, and it's a not-for-profit organization. Now, this is the way the Xfce desktop comes with Mageia, and it's really more or less the way I would organize it if I tweaked it myself. It has two panels, one at the top and one at the bottom. The top panel has the whisker menu, and you'll notice that the whisker menu is turned around the right way. In other words, the categories are on the left and the details are on the right. This is the way I like it. It usually comes backwards. So this shows a little forethought on the part of Mageia. Then it has various launchers, and you can install more launchers. It has sound, volume. I've adjusted this with Pulse Audio for this recording. It has the network manager. I'm using a wired connection right now, but it works fine with my wireless connection. And this shows that Simple Screen Recorder is on. And of course, you have the time, and you can adjust that. Here's a restart button, and here's a shutdown button. In the lower panel, it has a Minimize Open Windows button. Then you have 4 workspaces and a workspace switcher. Comes by default. You can adjust the number. And if I wanted to, I could move this around on the panel. You have a window list which shows what's open. Here's a Simple Screen Recorder. It's open. And over on the far right, you have another way of accessing the workspaces. Now I can add things to this list of launchers. For instance, if I wanted to add Firefox, I'd open the menu and I'd right-click and say Add to Panel. And it would say which panel. I would say that panel, panel 1. Now I can right-click on the Firefox icon and left-click on Move and bring it over here. And I can launch Firefox from here. There we are, Firefox. This gear symbol with the little bubbles in it is the famous Mageia Control Center. I have to enter the password for root. And you can see here under Software Management, I can install and remove software, update the system, configure updates frequency, configure media sources for install and update. Under Hardware, I can browse and configure hardware. There's a sound configuration. What this does is it detects your sound system and automatically configures it. It's not the same as the pulse audio volume control, which is in the menu. Configure 3D desktop effects, set up the graphical server, set up the keyboard layout, set up the pointer device, mouse and touchpad, configure printing and scanning, set up scanner, set up an uninterruptible power supply for power monitoring. Under Network and Internet, there's a Network Center. Set up a new network interface, LAN, ISDN, etc., etc. Remove a connection. Personalize and secure your network with a proxy. Share the internet with other local machines. Manage different network profiles. Configure a VPN, virtual private network. And under here I can select the host definitions. Then under System, I can go back into authentication and change that if I want. Manage system services by enabling or disabling them. Manage, add, and remove fonts. Import Windows trademark fonts. Manage date and time. Manage localization for your system. View and search system logs. Open a console as administrator. Manage users on the system. Import Windows trademark documents and settings. And snapshots. This makes snapshots of the system itself. Under network sharing, I can configure Windows shares, share drives and directories with Windows SMB systems. I don't use this at all. Configure network file system shares, share drives and directories using network file system. Configure web DAV shares. Local disks, manage disk partitions. There's a CD DVD burner. Share your hard disk partitions. Security, configure system security permissions and audit. Set up your personal firewall. Configure authentication for Mageia tools. Advanced setup for network interfaces and firewall and parental control. And under boot, I can set up auto login to automatically log in. Set up the boot system. Set up the display manager. So there's quite a bit there. Now under install remove software, I have to enter the root password. Looking for available packages. Now this is RPM Drake version 6.27. It's the Mageia package management tool. And it's derived from Mandriva. Now, in the discussions about version 6 of Mageia, they mention that Mageia has done a lot of integration with the Fedora DNF package management system and has produced DNF Dragora, which is used in a lot of the Fedora spins. However, that's not what you find here. This is still RPM Drake. I haven't tried installing DNF Dragora. However, I did use the DNF protocol at one point, and I will get to that later. Now, I mentioned I was using Simple Screen Recorder. I found that here. It was in the repositories. Press Enter. And there it is. Of course, I've already installed it. It also has VLC, and I could install that. To do that, I would click here and then click on OK, and then go down here and click on Apply. And here's a confirmation window. I'm going to click on Yes. So that's finished. And see, I now have VLC. Just taking a very quick look at what's installed. I don't want to go into everything because there's quite a bit. Under development, there's a database browser and LibreOffice Base, which is the LibreOffice database application. Under documents, there's the Mageia user manual, and this is just a link to the online user manual. Under education, there's LibreOffice Math. Under graphics, I installed GIMP, but it came with a Ristretto image viewer with Simple Scan and with Xfce scanning. Under Internet, it comes with the Claws Mail, Deluge, the Mageia, Softphone, Firefox, HexChat, and Network Center. May I say that Deluge is my favorite BitTorrent client. Under Office, it has the Atrial Document Viewer, the full LibreOffice suite, and Orage Calendar. Under Sciences, it has LibreOffice Math again. Under Settings, it has a great deal. I'm not going to go into them all, but all of the things you would normally find in Xfce settings, and a few you probably wouldn't find. Under Sound and Video, it has Exhale, GNOME Player, Parole Media Player, Pulse Audio Volume Control, Simple Screen Recorder, which I installed, Sound Converter, Sound Juicer, TV Time Television Viewer, VLC Media Player, which I installed, and Xfce Burn. Under Tools, again, it has an enormous number of things. Let me just mention a few things. It has the Epson Inkjet Printer Manager, has GPAR, it has the HP Device Manager, HP SendFax, it has the Lexmark Head-Align, Lexmark Head Clean, Lexmark Hide cartridges, Lexmark Printer Manager, Lexmark Show cartridges. There's the Mageia Control Center again, the Mageia Welcome Screen again, Manage Printing, Mousepad, of course, the things you would normally find under Tools, but it has quite a bit to offer in printer control. Now here's the terminal. I can run top, and with Simple Screen Recorder running, it's running just under 500 megabytes of RAM. It was around 414 without Simple Screen Recorder, so it's fairly lightweight. Let me open the terminal again and make it a little more legible. I mentioned that there is closer integration with the DNF package management protocol, which was developed by Fedora. Traditionally, the Mandriva derivatives have used the URPMI or URPMI protocol, which I guess still works. I haven't tried it. But DNF also works. Now, the only thing is that Mageia does not use sudo by default, so you have to sign in as root first. SU, press enter, enter your password, enter the root password, press enter. Now I'm root. Now I'm going to try to install something using DNF. DNF install what should I try? Audacity. Is this okay? Yes. Click on Y, press enter. So that's finished. Under sound and video, I now have Audacity. Now I'm going to go to configure media sources for install and update. And this shows you what's installed. The live core, the live non-free, the core release, the core updates, non-free release, non-free updates, there are quite a few things that are not installed. The core 32-bit release and updates is also included. Now, it took Mageia quite a while to come out with version 6. Unlike some distributions which come out every 6 months, whether they're ready or not, Mageia tends to wait until it's actually ready to be issued. And while this may try the patience of some people, you end up with a system with far fewer bugs. So you might think with the rather long release cycle, I think it's taken over a year, some of the software may be rather old, but much of it is quite up to date. Here's LibreOffice Calc. As you can see, it's version 5.3.4.2, which to my knowledge is the latest stable version of LibreOffice. If I right-click on the desktop and then go to Desktop Settings, I have a very limited choice of backgrounds here. There's a way to configure the desktop menu, which is the menu you get on right-clicking. A way to change the icons. And it shows the default icons here. I'm going to get rid of them because I don't like icons on my desktop. As with any Xfce installation, you have a wide range of possible tweaks. Under Appearance, under Style here, this is the traditional OK style. If I wanted to add weight to dark, I could do this. There's that way to dark. It's a very large number. So that's Mageia 6 with the Xfce desktop. It's very quick, it's very lightweight, it's very thorough and very stable. This is XRAM Tech. Thanks for watching.